other than cheaters and liars.
Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back to our series on Jaclyn Hill. This is Vicky Viper here, and we would like to thank you all for your patience during our break from this channel over the holidays. Today's video will be a complete chronological history of Jaclyn's affiliation with Morphe, and we will also be discussing some of Morphe's history and Jaclyn's own cosmetics brand, Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. In August of 2014, Jaclyn went to Los Angeles to visit her friend Jen Gerard of Gerard Cosmetics. Jaclyn, her mom Robin, and her sister Rachel all went, and they stayed with Jen. During this trip, Jaclyn met with several other brand owners, including Anastasia and Norvina of Anastasia Beverly Hills and Marlena Stell from Makeup Geek. It was also on this trip when Jaclyn met the quote-unquote owner of Morphe, Linda Tawil, for the first time. It is rumored that Jen Gerard introduced Jaclyn to Linda from Morphe for the first time. Once Jaclyn began talking about and frequently using Morphe eyeshadows, people immediately began to wonder why. Jaclyn had previously made statements that she would not use any cosmetics containing mineral oil on her skin, so people were understandably surprised when she began using Morphe eyeshadows which contain mineral oil. She later went on to say that she was wrong about mineral oil and that it is perfectly fine in cosmetics. In January of 2015, Jaclyn launched her first collaboration with Morphe. The 28-pan Jaclyn Hill Favorites palette was composed of already existing colors that were put into a palette for a cost of $28. Each eyeshadow retailed for $2, so it was essentially half off. When the product launched, the website experienced major issues that Morphe and Jaclyn stated were due to hackers and bots. The palette still sold out in 2.5 days and eventually restocked in the spring, but was gone by the time Jaclyn launched Champagne Pop with Becca. Things were pretty quiet in terms of Jaclyn's collaboration and ties with Morphe for the rest of 2015 and 2016. At the time, Jaclyn was heavily involved with Becca for the Champagne Pop launch in summer of 2015, the holiday collection, and the Champagne Glow collection in the spring/summer of 2016. During this time, she was still talking about Morphe products frequently on her YouTube channel, and she was also in contract with them and working on developing her original Jaclyn and Morphe palette as mentioned in the infamous Makeup Geek emails. And of course, during this time, she was also in talks with Makeup Geek to create an eyeshadow palette with them. In January of 2017, a bakery leaked a photo of a cake that was a representation of Jaclyn's upcoming palette with Morphe. Both Morphe and Jaclyn stated that the colors on the cake were not the same colors as her palette. Not surprisingly, when the palette was revealed, many people noticed that the cake was actually an exact replica of her palette. When Jaclyn announced her palette with Morphe in June 2017, she stated that the palette was completely different from regular Morphe formula with a completely new formula. Jaclyn also said that the palette was not a new formula, just pressed differently. Beauty Truth Sleuth compared Jaclyn's palette ingredients to another Morphe palette, and the ingredients were the same. After being called out by Beauty Truth Sleuth and Kevin James Bennett for this, Morphe said that the formula online of the Jaclyn Hill palette was wrong and that they had updated it. Then, Beauty Truth Sleuth compared the new formula to the 25A and 25B palettes, and it was again the same. Beauty Truth Sleuth also shows swatches of the palette from YouTuber Samantha Raventhal compared to Jaclyn's swatches, and the two looked nothing alike. Doesn't this sound eerily similar to another Jaclyn launch from 2018? Jaclyn and Morphe also announced the palette as a limited edition item, which is a common tactic from Morphe, but we will get into that in a bit. As we all know now, the palette is not limited edition. In October 2017, Morphe and Jaclyn announced that the Jaclyn Hill palette would be launching in Ulta stores. Not only did they announce the launch, but they announced that packaging of the palette would be getting an upgrade to a glossy white finish for easy cleaning, and they would be adding the shade names to the back. People were understandably angry that they purchased a subpar palette under the false claims that it would be limited edition, only to have an upgraded version available a few months later. People also realized that in order for Morphe to have the updated packaging only a few months later, they would have needed to put this into production months earlier, meaning that they had never planned on having the palette as a limited edition item. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to stay tuned for part 2 of our Jaclyn Hill / Morphe expose. This is a lot of information, therefore, by y'all's vote, we are putting it into 2 videos. Our next video will be diving into the vault and all of the drama following after. So until next time, see you soon.
And with a Morphe gel liner. I swear to God, this video is not sponsored by Morphe. At this moment, I'm just now realizing that every single product that I've used so far has been from Morphe. Well, that's not true. My translucent powder, but